This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. President Trump ordered a freeze on all foreign aid to South Africa in an executive order Friday, claiming South Africa's white population's facing, quote, government-sponsored race-based discrimination. Trump has repeatedly criticized the new land reform law in South Africa, where the country's white minority still owns the vast majority of farmland 30 years after the end of apartheid rule. Trump wrote on his Truth Social account Sunday, South Africa's confiscating land and treating certain classes of people very badly, unquote. Trump has made the claim before. The South African government says it's part of a, quote, campaign of misinformation and propaganda, unquote. His order also claims South African leaders have, quote, taken aggressive positions toward the U.S. and its allies, citing its pursuit of genocide claims against Israel before the International Court of Justice. South Africans responded to the freeze of an estimated $440 million in U.S. aid. This is a woman seeking her regular treatment for HIV/AIDS when she realized the clinic was closed. She spoke with Sky News Africa correspondent Yusra El-Baghi.
Are you trying to go to the clinic?
Yeah.
It's closed.
What happened?
I mean, the U.S. aid funding has been frozen, so they're closing down clinics. Do you have alternatives?
I don't know. I'm going to ask next door. Hopefully they'll be able to assist me. If they can't, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Serious. What will I do? There's nothing.
Trump's order also offered refugee status in the United States to white South Africans, Afrikaners, who are, quote, victims of unjust racial discrimination. But many in the right-wing white lobby groups say they want to stay and focus on ending black majority rule. All of this comes as the South African-born billionaire, the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, now a leader in Trump's administration, has said white South Africans have been the victims of, quote, racist ownership laws and accused the post-apartheid government of anti-white racism. Last week, Musk's 78-year-old father, Elon Musk, said an advisor to South African President Cyril Ramaphosa asked him to help.
I was asked if I can arrange a quick talk between Ramaphosa and Elon last night. So I said, all right, so I did. And then they spoke a few minutes later, and it's on my phone. I can only imagine that Elon would have said, look, we want to help you, but you have to quit this, war on white people in South Africa.
Elon Musk is Elon Musk's father. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, has increasingly embraced far-right leaders and conspiracy theaters, the some have linked to his roots in apartheid-era South Africa. In a minute, we'll also look at how Musk is part of the PayPal mafia of libertarian billionaires with roots in South Africa under white rule, who now hold powerful positions in the tech industry and politics and surround the White House. But we begin in Johannesburg with Trevor Ngwane, Soweto-based activist and chair of the United Front, umbrella body of community and labor organizations. Welcome back, Trevor, to Democracy Now! Talk about the effects of this immediate cutting off of all U.S. aid to South Africa, your country.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah, it's terrible because remember that there's a lot of programs here which rely on American funding, primarily the HIV program, PEP4. 17% of the programs are funded by money from America. And with one stroke, all that those services were stopped because no money came through and millions of people are suffering, including other community, social, and health programs. So this is very bad for the people here in South Africa.
I mean, it's very interesting you mentioned PEPFAR. Let's remember that it was established by the former Republican president of the United States, George W. Bush, what many call perhaps the most important achievement of his presidency. The significance when you talk, Trevor, looking back at the end of apartheid in '94, white South Africans who make up, what, 7% of the population, owning farms that make up about half of South Africa. What are your thoughts on the information or misinformation we're getting in the United States about land seizures from Donald Trump and from the South African-born Elon Musk?
Well, white people, you know, are sitting pretty. They managed to hang on to most of their wealth. due to global and local economic processes, the rich continue to get richer and the poor get poorer. Most of the farmland, more than 70% of it is owned by white farmers. So basically, they're sitting pretty. They've got nothing to complain about. Perhaps, Amy, there's a saying, the guilty are afraid. Perhaps they know that this unjust situation where a tiny minority enjoys, most of the country's wealth and resources is not tenable. And sooner or later, it will have to end.
And finally, Trevor, President Trump welcoming Afrikaner refugees into the United States as flight after flight takes immigrants from the United States, for example, to Guantanamo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the white people here are not interested in going to the USA because they're having a good life here. The only thing that is bothering them is what I can call white fears in the face of black aspirations. Indeed, black frustrations, because after 30 years of democracy, not much has changed in terms of, wealth ownership, in terms of basic improvement in the everyday lives of the people. White people, they are human beings. They can see that the suffering continues. They're just guilty. And they know that they should give away some of their wealth, but they are not prepared. So they are using politics, ideology, misinformation, and propaganda, some of them, to maintain the status quo.
Trevor Ngwane is joining us from Johannesburg, South Africa.